Welcome, welcome, my friends, to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you, as always, by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camels Challenge, smoke Camels for 30 days, and see for yourself what a difference Camels can make in your life. Well, my friends, we're still in the midst of the holidays. Today is the first day of the eight-day holiday of Sukkot. There's Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, and finally the blowout holiday of Simchas Torah, and when Jews are urged to inebriation. And let me tell you, if there was ever a time for inebriation, this is it. Of course, last year's Sukkot celebration was the worst atrocity committed against Jews since the Holocaust. Jewish children were murdered, Jewish women were raped, and hundreds were taken captive. It was the beginning of the unraveling of the Zionist dream and the demise of the state of Israel. But I would not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned, and the U.S. is also unraveling as a nation. The Economist this week declared the Trumpification of American policy. They pointed out that the administration has already adopted Trump's position on immigration, even after he told his supporters to vote against it. And he has moved on to warning against Haitian pet eating. The same is true for tariffs. The administration has kept Trump's tariffs, even as he has moved on to far more extreme positions. Summing up, they write, quote, "The result is that the candidate who lost the last election, whose party was trounced in 2018 midterms, a candidate who has never won the popular vote and probably never will, has remade American policy in his image and American society." And that is my point. The November elections will not save us. We have lost the Congress. We've lost the Supreme Court. The race appears to be a dead heat. Now I know that many people refuse to believe that. It's very hard to believe that the polls, when we ask ourselves, who answers these polls and who participates? You get these annoying text messages and voicemails, and you ignore them. And who could possibly be undecided? The notion is absurd at this point. Only someone who just woke up from a coma could be undecided. Trump has all the votes he needs. I assume he's losing some votes as a result of his late stage dementia, but I think that a lot of people believe he is going to lose because they couldn't sleep at night if they thought he was going to win. And there's a lot of anxiety now among all those trying to convince themselves that he is going to lose badly and somehow go away. But as The Economist pointed out, he has already won over and over again. He is the most prominent and important figure in contemporary America. He has an enormous cult following and that takes pride in their heroes' transgressions. But Trump hasn't brought about this transformation of America any more than Netanyahu or Putin have brought about the transformations of their respective societies. Look around you, my friends. This is what life at the end stage of civilization looks like. Natural disasters are magnified by war, cruelty, and starvation. By the way, the best cure for anxiety is to light up a camels. Many people find it stressful to be around people that are very different from them, that have different senses of reality. For example, someone who belongs to a white supremacist group would find it stressful to be around civil rights activists of color. Not only are their perceptions of reality wildly different, but they are also at odds with each other. Now, I have always enjoyed being with people who are strange to me. For example, I enjoyed being in a room where I was the only white person or the only Jew. And I've been really fortunate because for the most part, I've always been welcomed. I was invited to the mosque to pray with my Muslim students. I went to a bar called the Plantation in East St. Louis, where there were no other white people. Black people experience that all the time. It's far less common for a white person to be in a place where you are absolutely the only one. Uh, but it isn't common for Jews to schmooze with Nazis, and I've done that as well. Alan Alda gave me the recipe. Always listen with the idea that you are willing to be convinced. Don't be defensive. Let them explain themselves. Usually they are desperately want to explain themselves. They want you to understand their positions, which they're convinced are true. I found myself comfortable being around Nazis. I didn't mind that they hated Jews, and I didn't take it personally. That was true with J. Philip Rushton, who I debated several times on national television shows. I always found him to be cordial and easy to be with. I remember after the Donahue show, we both needed to get to the airport, and the host wanted to get two separate limos, thinking that we would prefer not to be together. But we said, no, fine, we're going in a single limo. And when we got into the limo, he said to me, Barry, I can't believe you're calling these people Nazis. I know these people, they are stand-up guys. And I told him to his face, Phil, you're a stand-up guy, and you're a Nazi. Most people want to be around other people who will confirm their view of reality. This is especially true today. If you're a Harris supporter, you don't want to be around Trump supporters. And you desperately want to convince yourself that he is going to lose and that everything's going to be all right. But the point is, as Elizabeth Kolbert pointed out in a breathtaking article this week in the New Yorker, we have already dumped 2 trillion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. Folks, the ice is melting, the permafrost is releasing huge quantities of CO2. The hurricane and droughts and fires and floods are destroying the fabric of our civilization. We think of elections as moments of choice, but we are beyond choosing a future. Our destiny is sealed. Now, I felt a degree of cognitive dissonance being around my colleagues at Ferris and members of my congregation in Avos Israel in Grand Rapids. From my perspective, the pandemic never ended. Our civilization is collapsing. Our species is hurtling towards extinction. I don't expect anyone to survive the current extinction. This is the end of the line for humanity. Everything we have ever accomplished will be dust in the wind. People are vectors of disease. I don't want to be around anyone, but I especially don't want to be around people who think of those dangerous souls who walk around unmasked. The cognitive dissonance grows wider all the time. I feel it especially when I hear the election is a dead heat. How is that possible? This Shabbos, we'll read Ecclesiastes. Now, there's a book close to my heart that may help to explain how it's possible. And that'll have to do it for this week. Oh, I did want to say that I want to make a note that this is a gift. I've been receiving lots of gifts lately, and Dan Coleman sent me his book. My student made me the little buttons, and Karen just got me this really wonderful warm. It was a surprise too. It came yesterday. It's and I love being surprised. The perks of this show are incredible, I also wanted. This is a gift also. This was a gift of a very dear friend, Phil Middleton, and his wife Teresa, who stopped by unannounced in the evening after my viral video. I was getting death threats. It was very stressful. And Phil and Teresa showed up at my door with this gift and some jam and a few other things, and just very, very sweet. He was a very special person. He died last week. He was my age, 77, born in 1947. And he died from the effects of dementia. Very quick onset and very serious. This is the first I've said anything about it. It's an enormous loss for me. He was a very special person. So, Phil, this is for you, and for all of you. That'll have to do it for this week. I'm recording this on Thursday morning, but I'm going to release it on Sunday. Have a good week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week with more bad news.